Hello, I'm Mike Zaida, and today's talk is about a trip I took to China in 2015, the 18th through the 22nd of May. And I'm going to use some slides to talk over with you. So let me do the sharing. And we've got to share the sound and video sharing. And there's the slides. Okay, put it on play and away we go. Of course, we start with the Terracotta Warrior picture of the general on the left-hand side here. Hi, I'm Mike Zaida. And this is a 4 day trip. In 4 days, I went to three different cities. So we're going to start out with Shanghai. And we flew from Los Angeles to Shanghai and threw our bags into the hotel room and went to dinner at the Shenpao, which is a restaurant, beautiful, fantastic food. It was founded in 1872 as the Chinese Daily News, as a place for journalists to put out a newspaper. And now it's a restaurant. And the hotel we stayed in Shanghai is the Eastern Hua Hai Hotel Shanghai. And it's a nice hotel in the French concession. And we were there for one night only. And we were beat. We went to sleep after dinner immediately. And when I woke up the next day, this is what it looked like outside. This is May in Shanghai, and you can see sort of the classic China is you can't see across the street, and this is not fog, this is smog, which is absolutely terrible. And I'm going to go over some of the quirky things that I started noticing in China and I took pictures of. If you go in the elevator on Tuesday, the floor says Tuesday, and then Wednesday it says Wednesday. And this is one of my favorite things that you see inside of the elevators. And of course, it's in Chinese, but it's also in English. And right in the middle, I saw this part. It goes, those who are not able to take the full civil responsibility for their behaviors. The children, the elders, disabled, and people not in good health shall be accompanied to ride elevators. I love the fact that someone's pointing out that there might be someone who is not able to take the full civil responsibility for their behaviors. I just think that is so cool. Anyway, we were just in Shanghai for one day and a later trip. I'm in Shanghai quite a bit. Then we went to Xi'an. Xi'an is a very old city, founded in 202 BCE. BC is before Common Era. All right. Basically, 202 years before Christ, it was founded. All right. Where did I stay in Xi'an? I stayed in this beautiful hotel. This is the Tang Dynasty Art Garden Hotel, which means there is this garden all around the hotel, and it absolutely is gorgeous and very fun to look at. So I took this out the window of a taxi as we were driving somewhere, I forget where. It says warm water and tea skill foot cures, whatever that may be. That sounded very exciting and fun to go see, but we didn't stop. In Xi'an, there's this famous bell tower, which is let's go ring the bell because invading warriors from somewhere else are coming. Let's get inside the city wall of Xi'an. Xi'an has this absolutely fantastic city wall that goes all the way around the original core of the city. And when you're up there, it's pretty wide. You can ride a car on top of the city wall if you could get one up there. But you can ride bicycles, and it's really fantastic, and it's a very old city wall. And this is the same place from another angle, the bell tower in Xi'an. And we're turning a little bit to the right here to this shopping mall right next to the bell tower. And this is going to wind you into the Muslim district. But this is how cool China is. It's got stores. It's got the Kentucky Fried Chicken for all of the big holidays. New Year's holiday, everybody wants Kentucky Fried Chicken. And fried chicken is kind of like, what people would have in China in another name. All right. We went to lunch in this play in that mall that was right there. And this is Wang Jin, who organized my entire trip, all my trips to China. And We were having lunch in the middle of the day in this Muslim district in Xi'an. It's really absolutely beautiful if you look at it. It's just like, very cool place, lots of little shops. And it's for if you're from the United States or California, it's just really cool. It's like going to a completely different world. There's me, of course. I'll slip a few pictures of me in as we go. This is in the days before I had eye surgery to fix my eyes so I don't wear glasses anymore. Near the bell tower, you can see all these kites. And they are this is a kite and a kite and a kite all connected together up in the sky. It's quite cool. All right, here we are looking. You look at this close, you'll see honeymoon dessert. What does that mean? Here's the Kentucky Fried Chicken up close. And right next to it is the Guoming Hotel. And this is the Guoming Mall. Xi'an Guoming Mall. Again, the bell tower. Here's the Muslim Quarter at night. And this is like totally cool place. You can get all kinds of very cool food at food stalls as you go down this very crowded walkway. This guy in the yellow suit, he's dressed up as the Monkey King. And the Monkey King is one of the lead characters in a book called Journey to the West, which is about Buddhist monks from Xi'an who are going to India. Of course, India is west of China, right? So they're going west to go and try and meet Buddha. This is one of the stalls in the Muslim district of Xi'an, and I love this. So I'm going to put this on and play this video for you. I'll put this on too. This is you're driving, trying to drive through.
我把地址会单独发给他，那你跟王庆他们都说一声。不是王庆本来说要跟我们一起开会的嘛，所以现在就不用了，你跟他说一声。先这样啊，拜拜。
Just to give you all right, here we are, bell tower again. Went out to dinner with a group of people from, I believe these people are from China's NASA. Back at the Tang Dynasty Art Garden Hotel, which has got all of these really cool sculptures out in the gardens. And of course, there's this danger, no entering this water because you can see the power lines are almost in the water right there. Again, more statues, sculptures. Get to see people cleaning the sidewalk with basically these handmade brooms. And when you were there, you're really close to the Wild Goose Pagoda. Wild Goose Pagoda actually is that thing in the left-hand side behind the red doors. That's where the Buddhist monks lived who were going on Journey to the West. So that's where Journey to the West starts. It's a very famous book. If you're on Audible, you can actually get this in English, fully acted out. And you can see the Monkey King on the right-hand side holding a horse. He's one of the big characters in this story. And in this art garden hotel garden, you can see all these very cool things. Tang Paradise building is right there. And then there's this guy. This is, I don't know what the name of this place, Shanxi Folk Souvenir. And he's going to do a little show here. And so I recorded a little bit of the show. It's kind of funny.
妖怪，我知道么了？妖怪来了！孙悟空一见，显出了正面香啊，手把吉他，龙骑着钉马上了天，在空中展开了大会台呀，这是大呀天宫啊地外，哎呦了不得了，打起来了，打起来了！我看看，还没事，都打起来了，都打起来了，这打起来，要不看。 打起来了，我看一头钻到水里边，老乌龟拖着他们就过了河。哎。
All right. Again, I have no idea what's going on there, but it's, different than you see where we are in the USA. Here's the giant wild goose pagoda. Again, there is a small wild goose pagoda, and I went to that on a different trip in summer of 2016. All right. Here's some more, a little bit closer shots of the kites. It's very cool. All right. And when you're in Xi'an, you're real close to a city called Lintong. Well, Lintong is about an hour and a half drive. What's in Lintong? The Terracotta Warriors. Lintong is a district in Xi'an, and Shanxi is the province where Xi'an and Terracotta Warriors are. And of course, you got to buy a ticket. Here's the ticket office of the Terracotta Army Museum. And this is one of my absolute most favorite places in China. I've been to this 7 times, by the way. So this is the first time. And the Terracotta Army is a collection of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He's the first emperor of China. He is the person who took the 5 warring tribes of China and put them together to turn it into a single country. So that's a pretty amazing feat. And the Terracotta Warriors are a form of funerary art buried with the emperor in 210, 209 BCE, again before Common Era, with the purpose of protecting him in his afterlife. So he spent about 70 years of his life building something like 8,000 terracotta sculptures that were going to be an army that would take care of him, protect him when he died. And this is about 2,218 years ago. So this is a long time ago. And here you bought your ticket, you're inside. On the left, you can see this thing that looks like an airplane hangar. And it is an airplane hangar. It's huge. And on the right is some more of the museum showing some of the other pits. We're primarily going to look at the airplane hangar part on this trip. So when you go in there, the first thing you see is this. And you see this entire army of terracotta warriors. And what you can see is some of them are broken, some of them don't have heads, some of them have holes in them. And what you'll see is the pieces for these sculptures were discovered inside of these pits. And then these pits were filled with dirt, and they put wooden boards over the top, and then something on top of that, and then buried that in dirt to hide these after the emperor died. And the idea was they didn't want anybody to know where these were. So the people who buried the warriors were then killed, and then the people who killed them were killed to hide the fact that these existed at all. And this was just left underground for years and years and years. And no one could actually find it until about 1974. And we'll talk about that in a second. But what you'll find is these are reassembled warriors. When they find most of these warriors, they have been crushed in some way, and they have to be reassembled. And it typically takes them 2 to 3 years to reassemble each one of these warriors. So they have a massive staff. They believe there are 8,000 warriors that were inside of this place, and they still haven't reassembled all of them. And they've been working on it for many, many years. Again, here's some more shots of it. I'll get closer. You can see there's horses. Every single face of every soldier is different. They are actually lined up in the order that they would be in a regular army, with the leaders in the front and the other soldiers in the back. And I just took a couple pictures from the side so you could see what it looked like from the side. And this is just fantastic. When you go there, when I go there, I feel like I'm Indiana Jones because I'm a professor and I'm here as an advisor to this group that owns this museum. And this is just very cool. Here I am, very first time I bought a tourist ticket. From the side, you can kind of see this. You'll see missing heads. You'll see holes in some of these because when they dug out the pieces and parts and put them back in the place where they found most of the warrior, some of the parts may be still buried in the dirt that's on the sides, or they didn't catch it in time. So it's kind of cool. If you look at this in detail, this is one of the what's that one of the 10 wonders, 8 wonders of the world, I think. The pottery warriors and horses were put together from hundreds of broken pieces. All right. You can see some of them with big holes in them in this picture. This is the place where there's a staging place where they've reconstructed some of these warriors. And you can see in the back, there's just a bunch of them that are not yet on display, but they're being completed out in the open for people to watch. So you look at these. These are very cool. Again, all the faces are different. They've left some of the pits as they were as they dug them out. And I guess they had built these nice walls inside and then filled them in with dirt. And there was a real floor there, but you'll see most of these are missing the heads. And you look closer, you can see an occasional one will have a head. You'll see the horses. These are all made by hand out of terracotta, over 2,300 years ago. Now, when these are completed, all of these terracotta warriors are painted. So you can see some examples of the color painted hands and shoes of the warriors where the paint has not completely faded away. In fact, when the farmers found the terracotta warriors under the dirt in 1974, when they were trying to dig a well, the first thing they saw was this brightly colored terracotta pieces that they dug up, and almost within minutes, the colors, for the most part, disappeared because they had been underground for 2,200 years. They had color painted heads. They had skin colored heads, which by the time they were dug up 2,200 years later, all you could really see was just the little pieces of the paint, and pretty much the patina has all gone to this one, very dark looking terracotta color. Here's some more sites of excavations. You can see one on the bottom here. I like this one very much. There's 4 soldiers that are kind of all knocked over where the heads are missing, and there's a bunch of broken pieces and parts in front of them. And it's just one of those, wow, how about that? Again, more looking down into another pit where you can see some of the soldiers. And you can see some of them. I like this guy over by the number 36. He's got his arms sticking out. And this is like one of those zombie movies the Chinese do in Hong Kong. Like the arms are sticking out and they're like that. Anyway, again, here's some more pieces. If you look at that number 39, you'll see a lot of broken pieces of soldiers. They've left it in a way so you can see how they found it, how it looked when they first went through and dug these up. And remember, when they found it in 1974, these farmers, they immediately turned to the government of China, and they immediately got archaeologists there. And they've been digging it out for over, 50 years now, which is an amazing amount of time. You can see that room where that number 38, 39 are, where all of the broken pieces are. It's pretty spectacular that they can go from that room on the right to room 36, where we've got most of it put together. You can see ruins of the door rafter, ruins of the building, remnants of weapons that were part of the soldiers. And this is the farmer who found the Terracotta Warriors. His name is Yang Jide, and he is signing my book. I got to meet him in 2015, and he found the Warriors in 1974. And you can, he's in a painting up on the left. Actually, it's a photograph. It looks like a painting, but and he's in there. And I had it turned into English from Google Translate, and it says Yang Jide was born on January 17th, 1948, in Xi'an village in 1974. When he organized a group to fight drought and dig wells, he accidentally discovered the Qing Terracotta Warriors. He was one of the well diggers at that time and one of the witnesses of this major discovery of the Qing Terracotta Warriors. Oh, this is like the guy. So for me, is to meet that guy and see him while he's still around, it's pretty cool. Uh, this is a picture I included in here, and you can kind of see how destroyed some of this will look when you first dig it up. And you can kind of see wood timbers that have been broken in burned in the middle, and they're kind of covered with something's on top of them. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it kind of covers over the wood, and at some point the wood caught fire and crushed the ceiling fell in and crushed all the warriors. But they've gotten a whole bunch of them that they've reassembled and look pretty cool. Like I think this guy's fantastic. Um, this guy is also cool. Just look at these. These are absolutely beautiful. This is the general guy. He is in a lot of his his face is in a number of different terracotta warriors. You've got horses. They built horses that are part of the army that's going to guide Emperor Qin Shi Huang in his death. And you can see the horses. You can see this guy is an archer. He doesn't have his bow and arrow, but he is an archer. Um, you can kind of, again, they've taken pictures where they found the warrior who's fallen over on the left, and he's got his buddy on the right, and their faces are kind of black from fire that was set by someone. And again, what does this look like before they dig it out? It's very cool. So really, I put a few of these pictures in here for you to know that there was a wood covering on top of the warriors, which was set fire and crashed and broke lots of the warriors. And they had to reassemble them. So I think they claim they have something like 2,000 warriors they've reassembled, and they believe there are 8,000 total. So they took two of the warriors and they made copies of them, and then they painted them by the colors they should have been. So what you'll see is it would have been very beautiful. This would have been something to see if you had 8,000 warriors in terracotta painted in this fashion. This would have just been absolutely gorgeous. But this is what they look like now. You know, they do look more historic this way. If they were painted as we saw in the last slide, you would have to repaint them all the time, probably. And this guy, you can see this guy on the left, you can see a lot of his cracks where he was glued together by the archaeologists. You can see a lot of his cracks on the right. It's just so. And this one's I don't know. I'm not quite sure what this one is. This is like something kind of put together. It's not all there. It's missing an arm. It's missing a leg, and a lot of breakage. You can see a lot of the cracks in this guy too. It's just, you look at this and say, how fantastic that they were able to reassemble it in some way, shape, or fat or form. And they got a museum of heads that they haven't figured out, or they haven't reconstructed the warrior that goes with the head. In fact, in Xi'an, there are two museums that are outside of the warriors that they discovered. They built when they went to renovate the Xi'an airport and make it larger. They found a whole bunch of heads that were buried. And in another part of the airport, they found a whole bunch of bodies of statues that didn't have heads that were buried. And so there are two museums, one with heads and one without heads. And It's kind of cool. Again, here's a painted piece of a terracotta soldier. And this guy was painted partially and he's burned partially. And I think this is pretty cool. If you ever get a chance to go to Xi'an, you should go. I flew to China for exactly 4 days, and this was one of my most important days. And you get to see this set of horses is leading this cart, and following it is another four horses, which are bringing the funerary, the sarcophagus of the dead emperor. On the wall, you see these interesting stone helmets and armor suit that would have gone with that. And there's really not a good explanation for what's there, but it's kind of cool. They left a piece of the ground to show you here's a warrior, and here's what he looked like when they first dug it up. And those are the pieces. It's very neat. This is the map of the whole area. And what you'll find is there is the Terracotta Warrior part, and then the Emperor Qing Shi Huang's part. And the emperor is not been dug up. He was buried with all of his concubines and all of his executive assistants. They were all killed and buried with him. And then to make sure that nobody would go and dig up his tomb, they supposedly filled in the tomb with rivers of mercury, which is highly poisonous. So they did that. They buried that. They killed the people who did the burying, and then the people who killed the people who were buried. And anyway, some famous people. We have President Clinton and Hillary Clinton and their daughter here visiting the Warriors. And I don't know what year this was. This was during their presidency. And that was the end of my trip with the Warriors. In Lintong is the Jade Valley Winery, which is owned by Qingyun Ma, who is the former Dean of Architecture at USC, and he is my close friend. And he's got a wine called the Drunken Terracotta as his label, and he's got a resort there. And these are early pictures of where his vineyard is. I think this is right as he was starting his vineyard, and right as he was building his winery. You could see the road that passes by. And this is early pictures of this building if you go there now, which you'll see in some of my later talks on China. It's just really cool. It's absolutely beautiful inside here. He is a great designer, and this looks cool. He's got a swimming pool inside, which of course is very nice. He's got his own library inside, and of course, a whole basement full of barrels of wine from his winery and vineyard. He's got a dining room underneath with some Ming era relics here. It's very cool. And I've had a beautiful dinner there where we tasted 5 different wines made at this winery. One of the days while we were there, we went to the winery and we had dinner and we had some wine. Then we went out and met Zhang Jiayi, who is the guy in the blue jacket, and he is a famous Chinese actor. I'm standing next to him. Next to me on the right is Qingyun Ma. He is just really wonderful person to know. Absolutely wonderful. Again, this is Wang Zhen, who organized our trip. And the hotel we stayed in Beijing is the St. Regis, which is pretty cool. And I think the reason Qingyun Ma chose the St. Regis was when I look outside the window of my room, I see this, which is the CCTV building in downtown in Beijing. It's really just across the highway. And it is a 5 million square foot building up on that part that goes across. It looks like 2 legs with a pair of pants on a pair of pants. And that cross part at the top up on the 20th story has glass floors. So you can look down through the glass as you're walking on it, which is completely unnerving. Nobody wants to do that. Anyway, And this is again a 4-day trip. I also went to the Forbidden City in Beijing. Here is the Meridian Gate of the Forbidden City. And I'm sure if you've seen any Chinese movies, this is used a lot in films and television over the years. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's massive space. I think I remember I went on a really hot day, just crossing this plaza was baking hot going across. And I think this is a picture I had to take. Is called the Gate of Moral Standard, Zhendumen, which is constructed in 1420 during the Ming Dynasty. The gate was originally named Shijiaomen, which is Western Corner Gate. It was renamed Xuan Shanqimen, the Gate of Law Promulgation. In 1562, then Zhendumen in 1645 during the Qing Dynasty. In 1988, it was destroyed by fire, but was rebuilt in 1889. And during the Qing Dynasty, is one of the places where the imperial guards on duty lived. The words Zhendu meant correcting the law. Funny. Anyway, very massive space. Forbidden City. I didn't know what you are forbidden from, but I just think the painting and the detail on these buildings is so cool. Absolutely cool. This goes through all. And then one of the gates that I did not get to go through is the Tiananmen Gate of the Forbidden City, this is what the Tiananmen Gate looks like. It's got the picture of Chairman Mao, and this is used to be the main gate up until about 1989 that you would enter the Forbidden City with. Another thing I saw in Beijing was the 798 Art District, and Beijing 798 Art District is also known as the Dashanxi Art District, is located in the Chaoyang District on Jioshan Road. It was originally an old factory area for state-owned electronic industries, including the 798 factory. The 798 Art Factory is located in the central area of the art district. And initially, it was an old military factory workshop designed and constructed with assistance from the former Soviet Union and East German experts. In fact, the East Germans built I think a diesel-powered power plant in there. And over time, artists transformed it with contemporary aesthetic concepts. And the space is primarily rented out for activities such as press conferences, fashion shows, and host exhibitions focused on installations of art. So you kind of see some of these cool old buildings that are there. They look very East German. And this is a map. You can go find this online of all the different art things that are around. And the reason I want to show a little bit about the art district is I gave a talk there. And I gave a talk called Building Game Developers on the 21st of May, 2015, in this building. This is me. This is Wang Jen. She's, again, the organizer of everything for this talk. And this Jingyun Ma and me. This is the space where the audience will sit, and I will be on the floor giving my presentation in the arts district at the building that Ma owns there. Then they asked me, where did I want to go? What did I want to have for dinner? And I said, for some reason, I really said I would like to have, Peking duck. And so they sent me to this restaurant, Huanjude Roast Duck Restaurant, Shi Chao Hai, which turns out to be like a 5-diamond national special grade restaurant, which is fantastic. And the only picture I took was of this sign. All right. So that's the end of my talk. Anyway, acknowledgments. I want to acknowledge Qingyu Ma for taking me to China multiple times, Wang Jen for organizing it multiple times, and all of the people who took me to great places in China on this 4-day trip, which was just a wonderful experience. This is me on WeChat if you want to contact me there. There's my email address. If you have any questions, send it to me and I will let you know. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do presentations on my other trips to China, but some of my other trips are 3 weeks long, so I might have to break it up and just do it in pieces. Anyway, this is the end of my talk, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I will stop sharing the slides and say, have a great day. This has been really fun for me. I'm putting these history of interesting places I went to up online just because, kind of fun to reminisce and talk about. Anyway, you have a wonderful day. My name is Mike Zaida, and have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.